Welcome to the Tower Yoga Podcast, where we dive deep into the heart of yoga and community. Come along with us as we explore the transformative power of yoga, share insights, and inspire one another on this journey of life. I'm Kellee Williams, and I'm your host and the co-founder of Tower Yoga. Thank you for joining our yoga community.
Hello. Thank you for being here. Today's episode topic is on the seasons of metamorphosis. We will be intertwining the 4 stages of metamorphosis with the cycles of the seasons, drawing parallels between nature's rhythms and our own transformative journeys. Each stage of metamorphosis aligns with the season, offering a very rich metaphor for growth, resilience, surrender, and renewal. But before we get into each one of those stages, I want to share the definition of metamorphosis, or at least one of them. One of the definitions of metamorphosis, when you look it up in the Oxford Dictionary, is a change of the form or nature of a thing or person into a completely different one by natural or supernatural means. That is really powerful. And so I just want to read that one more time. The change of the form or nature of a thing or person into a completely different one by natural or supernatural means. The symbolism of metamorphosis is so rich in culture, and the symbolism of a butterfly is used a lot when people speak on the power of transformation. And I think that to get deeper and connect them to the seasons, I was feeling inspired just when I was reflecting on the winter solstice and how seasons call for different ways of being embraced, and they offer different things. And I just thought, yeah, and there's these stages of metamorphosis, and there's 4 seasons, or there can be, and there's 4 stages. So let's get into it. The first stage is the egg stage, and there is a connection to the first stage or the egg stage to winter. So this represents the beginning of potential. It's quiet and still. It's where growth begins invisibly. It's where growth begins invisibly. Winter is a time of rest, reflection, and incubation when seeds of transformation are being planted. And this is the stage that, if you're listening to this in real time, that we're in right now. It is the end of the calendar year, the beginning of a new one. Winter is a time of rest, reflection, and incubation when seeds of transformation are being planted. So what are you planting now? We move into the second stage and season, and that's the larva or the caterpillar stage. And the season is spring. Spring is a phase of rapid growth, and it's a season that provides a lot of nourishment with everything blooming, and it also is a season of preparation for what's to come. It represents awakening, new beginnings, and it has this energy of creation and expansion. But that doesn't necessarily come, or it doesn't hit so hard and maybe as robustly as it could if we don't take the time to actually plant the seeds in winter and we don't honor the stage before. I mean, the second stage doesn't happen without the first one, really. And that'll continue as we move into the third stage. the chrysalis or the cocoon stage, and that's related to the summer season. So this is a stage, a phase of deep internal transformation where profound change happens. Seasonally, summer is about intense energy, about heat, and the inner work that leads to maturation and fruition. And this is where I think like extra friction or movement or fire really like comes in handy to bring about that deep transformation, right? That eventually is what starts to help from the cocoon phase, the butterfly bust out. So it's like a fire underneath its little wings and it can bust out of that cocoon. The heat is necessary. The deep, intense inner work is necessary. That high energy is necessary in that process. And then the last stage is the butterfly stage, the season of autumn. I really do think about it as like the last season of the year. Not I alone. A lot of us do. Although I think before, and I've heard other people sort of refer to like winter as the last season. I guess if we're thinking about it in terms of the calendar year, there's an early winter and a late winter. And so then maybe the year both ends and starts in winter, but there's different energetics between the early and late. Okay, but here we are. The butterfly stage is autumn. And so this stage is the final phase representing emergence, freedom, and beauty. It's showcasing the result of transformation. Season of autumn represents harvest, release, and embracing the fullness of who we've become through the process. So it's who we are on the other side of the process, who we've become. And I would have to do a little bit more digging, but I do believe that the migration of the monarch butterfly is in October time, right? So that's just really, really cool that it's linked up to that autumn season of showcasing and then making its migration and serving its purpose. It's like little butterfly dharma in the world. And we have our own dharmas, right? To live out and fulfill through our own becoming. So really beautiful. I feel so intrigued and inspired by this symbolism of metamorphosis. I hope you have enjoyed this brief little kind of dive or dip into the symbolism. There's probably so much more we could go into on this. And remembering, so even if you're not listening to this right now, in winter, in the egg stage, and how do you just be in that stage? How do you embrace the moment and where you're at? Maybe you are listening to this another time. I hear people sometimes they'll say, hey, I listened to this episode, and it's from like months and months back. So maybe you're listening to it in another time. Maybe it's spring. It's like, remember, you're in that larva, that caterpillar stage. It's like you got to be munching on some lettuce, metaphorically. You got to be like starting to resource yourself up. Maybe you're listening to it in summertime and it's that chrysalis, that cocoon phase. And remember that this is a time of putting maybe even a little like healthy pressure on yourself for doing, like having the discipline, the fire to refine, things that you're learning and that inner work. Or maybe you're listening to it in autumn. And remember that it's the butterfly stage, baby. It's time to showcase the results of your hard work. It's time to maybe, I don't know, even go to a butterfly festival or something like that. And also behold the beauty on the outside and let that inspire you on what is happening on the inside. These are just some ideas. All right. Well, once again, I hope that this was something just kind of fun and interesting. Let us know. You can always leave comments. You can message us you can DM us on Instagram. You can always email us. And until next time, be well.
Thanks again for listening in and joining our yoga community. If it so resonates, please share this episode with a friend. Remember, the inner light of awareness within me honors the inner light of awareness within you. Until next time, stay grounded, stay present, and keep flowing with grace.